Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how doing nothing creates and manifests everything you've ever desired. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. We have a big video for you today. The question came up, as it does from time to time. Tom, what do I do? How do I stay in a state of wish fulfilled? How do I stay in my imagined end? What do I do with the people, events, and circumstances that are popping up in my experience? What do I do in terms of processes? All of these questions came up. And they asked, Tom, what's the common thread for those that are manifesting and creating and living the life that they've always wanted? And what is it? What are they doing differently? Here's the thing. They're not doing anything. They're not trying to make it happen. They're not trying to create anything. They know that creation's finished. They're choosing and then allowing that choice to unfold within their 3D physical experience. The most powerful and practical way, because that's always a question, what's the most practical thing I can do, right? To stay in the state of wish fulfilled is to stop trying to stay there. Hear this. You never left it. Stop trying to be still. Stop trying to let go. So we always say, in other words, be still and know that you are there, or be still and know that you are God. But even that is trying to do something. Instead, know that you are there, and then be still and do or not do whatever you desire, right? Even more powerful is to know that you have always been there, and then be still. Do nothing. Hold on to nothing. Do you see it? Know that you've always been there. And then do or don't do whatever you want. Remember, there's nothing ever to do, but there's always action to take. That quote from A Magician's Way. So it's not about the action. It's not about doing. It's not about trying to stay anywhere. It's declaring here and now that I am fulfilled. Right? Stop trying to even be still. Right? Meditate or process our way there. Or trying to let go. Right? Even the idea of letting go becomes a process, becomes something to do. Instead, hold on to nothing, right? But to know that you've always been there. And then be still. Then do nothing. Then hold on to nothing, as A Course in Miracles says. There's only one law, the Lord of Scripture. That you are, what's the law? That you are absolutely wholly perfect, you're whole, perfect and fulfilled here and now. That's the one law, that you're absolutely complete, that you're absolutely whole, you're absolutely perfect, and you're absolutely fulfilled here and now. I am the law, or the Lord, and there is no other. That's what Scripture was pointing at. That in the Chosen, when Jesus declares, I am the law of Moses, he's declaring I am fulfilled. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to hold on to anything. I am source. And there is no other. I am the source of everything that I've always wanted to be and have. And there is no other. Then there's no reason to hold on to anything, right? This is powerful. Trying to stay in the state of wish fulfilled is backwards. It points you in the other direction of everything that you want. All that trying and striving implies that you're not fulfilled. Right, implies that you need to get fulfilled. You can't get there. You create a state of being in lack, a state of being not fulfilled. You create the experience of that, even though that you are always fulfilled. Right. So trying to say it's backwards. So Scripture says this, right? Be still and know that I am God. And I was talking about the teachings of Rupert Spira, the non-duality teacher. And he says, I would say it the other way. Know that I am God. Know that I am source. Know that I am fulfilled. Know that I am all that is. And then be still or do or don't do whatever you want, whatever your heart desires. right? Rather, know that I am complete, I am healed, I am whole, I'm unconditionally fulfilled, and then do nothing, right? Hold on to nothing. There's nothing you need to do about that. It doesn't mean you can't have intentions. You can't have an imaginal scene or an imaginal frame of you being with a specific person or having a certain amount of money or a certain job. See that frame, see that scene, but then do nothing. Right? That scene's already within you. Know that reality is already complete within you. Know that you couldn't even imagine it or desire it unless there was a version of you living it. Know that. In other words, don't make doing nothing, hear this, yet another condition to be met before you can claim all that you want and desire. We even allow the idea of doing nothing, meaning becoming a condition, to be met before we can give ourselves permission to be and have everything we want to be and have. There's always action to take, but there's nothing ever to do. So don't make doing nothing or doing something or anything a condition to fulfillment. You're fulfilled now. Don't make trying to stay in a state of wish fulfilled a condition to fulfillment. Right? The idea of persisting, it's the idea of staying in a state of wish fulfilled is persisting in your desired outcome. In other words, saying, this is who I am now. No matter what, this is my preference. Right? Be that new identity. Occupy that new reality because that's your preference. Not because of the people, events, and circumstances that you believe have to manifest or be created to be in that state, but that you're fulfilled anyway. This is your choice of who you are. And then allow everything to form around that choice. That's powerful. Stop trying to prove the law, the I amness, your awareness of being. And prove that you are fulfilled by looking for evidence and proof in the changing forms and conditions. We're trying to prove that we are that I am awareness, that we are fulfilled. Right? That the law works. Looking for evidence and proof in the changing forms and conditions, the changing thoughts and feelings, the changing people, events, and circumstances. That's the whole idea of trying to stay in a state of wish fulfilled. Trying to stay in a certain feeling or with certain thoughts. Or believing the circumstance is going to be a certain way before we can be fulfilled. Stop trying to prove and look for evidence of your worthiness, of your fulfillment. And instead accept it as a fundamental truth of being. I am. I am that I am. I am source and there is no other. I am God and there is no other. I am who I desire and imagine myself to be no matter what. Know it and then be still. Know it and then allow yourself to be the person, allow the life that you've always desired to be and live to unfold from within you. Allow that identity and the life that you've always desired to be and have and be and live unfold from within you. Wow. The truth that you exist and that all that is or God is the truth that you exist and that all that is or God is not complete without you is the absolute proof of your utter and unconditional worthiness. Hear this. Because all of that idea of trying to stay in a state of wish fulfilled is implying that you're not fulfilled. Is implying that you've got to find worthiness, that you've got to prove it, that you've got to manifest it. You are worthy no matter what. That's the truth, that you exist. And that all that is or God is not complete without you. That's the absolute proof of your utter worthiness, your utter fulfillment, that you exist. And that all that is not all that is without you. Without you as a unique, individualized, focused point of consciousness in that divine mind. It's not complete without you. That's what all that is means. That's proof enough that you exist is all the proof you need. You don't have to prove anything. There's nothing you need to do or don't do. Now you just choose. What part of that fulfillment, what part of that you existing as all that is that you want to experience now? That's what it's all about. Well, wow, right? Know it. Then be still and allow that identity that preferred identity, that preferred life you've always desired to be and live, to unfold from within you. That's really powerful. You're like the older son. We had this conversation yesterday. The prodigal son came up twice yesterday, interesting in conversations. You are like the older son in the story of the prodigal son, looking for proof and source of your fulfillment out there in the conditions, in the thoughts and feelings and people, events, and circumstances. Trying to prove the law, trying to prove your worthiness. Instead of being the law, instead of being worthy, I am the law, as Jesus said in the show The Chosen, right? I am the law of Moses. I am the Lord, and there is no other, as Scripture says, right? Lord in all capital letters, implying the law. In Luke 15:29, this is what the older son says to the father. Because remember, the father threw a party for the younger son who claimed his inheritance, who decided to went off and wasted it all, and then claimed to be that higher state, claimed himself as source, right? And the older son, for many years I have been serving you, and I have never neglected a command of yours. Yet you have never given me a young goat so that I might celebrate with my friends. In other words, you've never given me anything. Remember, the father throws a party for the son who returns, right? Because he died to his old self, right? And rose in consciousness to this idea that he is all that is, that he is the source of his own reality, that he claimed and occupied his ideal, right? The younger son, right? The whole idea of being born again, the younger son. And the older son, though, looks and says, what's going on? I've always been with you. I never left and squandered my inheritance on loose living like the younger son did. I stayed with you these years. I followed the law. I affirmed, I imagined my wish fulfilled. I tried to stay in the state of fulfillment, right? I try to stay in that state of wish fulfilled. I've never neglected a command. Yet, you've never given me anything, right? No parties. I don't have a reason to celebrate. You've never given, hear this, you've never given me a reason to celebrate. You've never given me a reason to feel fulfilled. Wow. We're waiting for a reason to feel fulfilled. We're waiting for evidence out there to celebrate our ideal identity and our ideal reality, as opposed to just claiming it like the younger son did, right? Went off and first demanded it and then squandered it, and then rose in consciousness, understood himself as source, as all that is, right? You've never given me a reason to feel fulfilled and celebrate or proof of my worthiness. Wow. You've never given that to me. Wow, that's powerful, right? Stop looking outside yourself. And this is what the father says to the older son. Son, you've always been with me, and all that is mine is yours. In other words, you have it backwards. You're already fulfilled. You are source. You are the proof. You are the reason to celebrate. You are fulfillment. Celebrate now, and then you're going to have a lot of things manifesting in your experience that will give you proof of that celebration, of that fulfillment that you're claiming right now. Right? So you have it backwards. You're trying to be fulfilled or stay in a state of wish fulfilled. Creates the experience and reality of non-fulfillment, like the older son. Not fulfilled, waiting, following the law, staying with his father, understanding that if I hold out long enough, my reality should change and I'll get thrown a party. I'll have a reason to be fulfilled, right? You are the fulfillment. You will never be more or less than who you are in this very moment, as all that is. Hear this. You can never be more or less worthy than you are right now. Your utter fulfillment, your utter worthiness. Remember, we've said many times, you couldn't even create the experience of lack or non-fulfillment unless you are utterly fulfilled. You couldn't create the experience of feeling unworthy or rejected unless you are utterly accepted, unless you are utterly worthy. Right? We create those experiences. You are source. You are the proof. You are the reason to celebrate. You are fulfillment. Alan Watts talks about the backwards law, or the law of reverse effort. In other words, the more you try to feel fulfilled, the more you try to feel worthy, the more you try to feel secure, the more unfulfilled, the more unworthy, and the more insecure you feel. You are already utterly that one source, that utter fulfillment. So everything else of trying and effort points you in the opposite direction. It creates an experience of non-fulfillment. It creates the experience of unworthiness. It creates the experience of insecurity. Do you see it? You're there. This is Alan Watts in the backwards law, the law of reverse effort. Vadim Zeland says this in Reality Transurfing. You can spend your whole life battling to prove your worth. Yet the moment you let go of the battle, you acquire it. Wow. Do you see it? The moment you just do nothing and allow yourself, just accept the fundamental truth of your worthiness, the fundamental truth of your beingness, the fundamental truth that as I am, awareness, you are source of everything you've ever wanted or could want or could imagine. And it's already yours, or you couldn't imagine it. You couldn't desire it. You couldn't even wish for it or think of it. You're already there. As soon as you accept the fundamental truth of your utter worthiness and fulfillment, the world, everyone, and everything else will reflect that. In other words, they'll accept it too. When you accept it, they'll accept it. We wonder, right? Why is that person acting like that? Why is my specific person treating me like that? Why is my boss or my colleagues not respecting me? Whatever it is, that story, because you're not accepting the fundamental truth of your utter worthiness, your utter fulfillment. When you do, everyone else will. You're still believing that your fulfillment or your worthiness is based on things that you do or have done, or things that you believe that you've accomplished. It has nothing to do with that. It's the utter acceptance that you're worthy and so isn't everybody else. And then you have that mutual understanding as all it is, that there's only fulfillment, there's only worthiness, right? Stop trying to thwart God's will. What is God's will then? Right? When we say that, through God's will, this is what A Course in Miracles says. What is the will of God? He wills his son, you as the son of God, as the children of the living source, have everything. You as I am awareness have everything. And this he guaranteed when he created him as everything, when he created you as everything. It's guaranteed. You were created as utterly worthy, as fulfillment. You are all that is. That's powerful. Remember, it's impossible for you to lack or lose anything, right? It's impossible since you were made as everything. What you have is what you are, as A Course in Miracles says. In other words, and what are you? You're everything. You're utterly worthy. You're that I am awareness. So what you have is what you are. That's the good news. And the good news is God gave you everything, guaranteed that you are everything by making you everything, perfect in his image. In the image of God you were made, right? I am all that is. I am that I am. I am who I imagine and declare myself to be. We're not saying not to take action or to take action. We're not saying to not take action or to take action. And we're not saying not to do processes and techniques or to do processes and techniques. We're not saying either one of those. We're saying that everything and every action is inspired or enchanted when you know yourself as source, when you know yourself as all that is. Then take any action or do or don't do whatever you desire, or do or don't do any process or technique that you desire. Right? We're saying know yourself as source, and then do or don't do whatever you desire, whatever inspires you. Trying to feel fulfilled and worthy, Trying to create and manifest with processes and techniques makes no sense when you know yourself as source. Right? Instead, use those processes and techniques and affirmations as a declaration, as an announcement of reality. Hear this. All processes and techniques are an announcement of your new identity, your preferred reality. They're an announcement of you as all that is, as source, of how you want to experience yourself now. You as source, how you want to know yourself experientially in the physical 3D experience. It's an announcement of your identity. It's an announcement of reality. That's what processes and techniques do. It's about the choice and then announcing that choice, right? Because you create that world, right? Everything and every action is inspired and enchanted when you know yourself as that living source. That's what inspired action means. It's never about the action. It's about where's that action coming from? Is it coming from a declaration of lack and separation? Or an announcement that I am fulfillment, that I am love? And you're announcing reality. You're choosing it, announcing it, and standing in that new preferred identity and reality no matter what the changing thoughts and feelings are showing you, and no matter what the circumstances are appearing as. Wow, that's powerful. So stop trying to feel fulfilled, trying to feel worthy, trying to stay in a state of wish fulfilled, trying to create and manifest things through processes and techniques makes no sense. Now you know that every process, every technique, every meditation, every affirmation, when you script, when you write something down, now you know that you're choosing, that you're announcing that reality now. There's no chance of non-fulfillment. You know that now. But when you're trying to be fulfilled, when you're trying to stay in a state of wish fulfilled, you're announcing that I'm not fulfilled, but I want to be fulfilled. I'm not who I desire to be, but I want to be. I'm not worthy, but I want to be worthy. Just say the word in the story of the centurion's servant. Lord, I know you are not worthy to come under my roof, but just say the word and my servant will be healed. Right? You're never going to find worthiness by trying to prove it, by chasing it, by believing that if you do enough processes, you'll finally get what you want and be that person you desire to be. You got to be it now. You got to know that absolute worthiness and fulfillment right now. That's how doing nothing creates and manifests everything you've ever desired. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on our videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, The Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/BeSomethingWonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, or anywhere on social media at Tom Kearin or Be Something Wonderful, and for being part of our membership channel. This weekend, Sunday, September 29th at 9 a.m. in the Pacific time in the morning, we're going to come to you live right here from the studios at Be Something Wonderful, where we're going to talk about the questions that you've been sending to us at info@besomethingwonderful.com, the topics that you want to talk about, and we're going to answer your questions right on the live, right as we're in the chat. Be sure to join us. They're always a lot of fun. If you're a member, join us. If you're not a member, check out the link below. Creators with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. This is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.